Hi, that is. Like I say, I don't think too many GT owners would like their car looking like that, but you can imagine that with an SUV body on top. You can imagine that. Our product planners aren't really looking at SUVs. Not that we don't have the technology. So this guy's going to have another go now. A little bit more speed. And lo and behold, he makes it back onto the road. So you can understand there's a little bit of a relationship building, and as I do mostly get around most of the shows, I happened to see the guys back in, I think it was November last year, and I spent some time with Philip Lunn, the founder and CEO, and this was his image of what he thinks Bunkspeed does. It's the bridge, if you like, between design, engineering and marketing. And I had a similar image. It's not quite so simple. It feels a little bit more fundamental than me maybe in his thinking. But I saw this, that between conceptualization and realization, there's a lot of 3D geometry that's crowding in. Now, basically, in between all of these, you want to visualize it to the highest quality. And Bunkspeed are the only guys in that arena really doing what they do. Aesthetica, this doesn't quite come out correctly. Aesthetica is a tool, you're going to see some of it in a second, which actually looks at the assembled quality of parts coming together. It looks at fixing strategies and how their material properties may move them. And this discussion, this meeting of minds, brought around quite a lot of changes. Here you see the GT carved up as I would carve it up into the various modules and the 3 zones that I have my engineers. And this is what defines it really. There are legal requirements, for example, what you can see, how you can crash and so on. Ergonomic constraints, we'll come on to those in a second. All these vehicle systems, even the way the car gets put together. Sometimes it's what our boss, Volkswagen, want us to do. And a lot of the time it's about the way the car looks, because for such an expensive car it's got to look good. So behind all that is a lot of CAD information. Here's some example of the ergonomics of our car. Here's our Ramses man, here's our Bunkspeed man. I haven't shown this to Phil yet, but he's nicely in green. This is a visual study that he'd do. This is his reach zone, this is what he's trying to reach. And once we've done that for him, Mr. Bunkspeed, we've got to do it for all ththese guys. So you can see there's a lot of interdependence on CAD information. Well, Phil's good for his word, and he's actually looked into plugins for all of these different CAD modeling software, which is really quite amazing since November 2007 till today, August of the next year. So moving on, if you remember we talked about the assembled quality, this is Aesthetica. You can see there's actually movement here. What's happening is this car is actually moving around the tolerances and the material constraints of the parts that you see there. And that allows engineers and designers to come together a little sooner. Now, Phil's also put a plug-in for Aesthetica, and I think they're doing good business on that, because, as you can see, whilst I'm not an advocate of this design, it's called the Connaught, it's a British sports car. Like it or not, the rendering's not so great, is it? So they're now actually going to benefit from the quality of the Bunkspeed software. And finally, we talked about marketing, getting the message out, enhancing the product message. This is the type of image that you'll see on our website that's based on digital configurator. And the problems our marketing department has had, and say that the leather looks shiny, it doesn't look real. The wood is looking plastic, and obviously there can be no better wood than the wood in the Bentley, and making the plastic is going backwards somewhat. And the carpets in the Bentley with lamb's wool and so on they're very expensive. You don't want them to look like cardboard. The lighting effects need to be soft, and the technical finishes take absolute weeks to perfect, so they can't be dull. All in all, our marketing department and their view on digital configurators, they're not convinced. So we set about doing a little piece of work, and here's some images of our interior. You look at that, I think that's fantastic. That's showing you the warmness of the leather that's involved. Here's a different set of colours, a different time of day. You can see the subtle textures between the components there on the screen. This one's a little edgier, again a different time of day, some technical finishes. The light's diffuse, it looks real. Another configuration. If you look closely down here, that looks like our carpet. That does not look like cardboard. That doesn't look like the cardboard you might see in a Ford. This definitely looks like a Bentley carpet. These are the details you see. This is what we call machine turn. That's actually loads and loads of little scratches. Yeah, it's a machine tool going in and spinning on the surface time and time again. And when you spin this round, you'll see the crown and the light go with it. As a render, this is phenomenal, and it really has captured the imagination of not just our marketing department, but our designers too. Here you see it again in a different configuration, the brightening clock. These guys scanned a number of our wood details, and the wood veneers take days and days to complete, so making sure that these look the way they're intended is really important. So I think we've come to the conclusion in our marketing department that this is utterly convincing. It's no longer a stretch of the imagination to go into a digital configurator. So what about the future? Well, again, this is top secret. This is something I can share with the Bunkspeed guys, but not necessarily with you. This is part of the track. It's a design in China, Fahrzeug track. This is where we put those special models around that are the early design models from Volkswagen. And we've been talking about modelling this track and putting it into hyperdrive, which would be really quite exceptional for us to be doing that at the design stage. And finally, this is a little piece of work that the guys put together last night, just to show you. I think it's which one is it? That one or this one? Hyperdrive. The type of quality that we could be seeing on the internet on digital configurators of Bentleys in the future. So, thank you very much for listening. I think it's fair to say that Bentley and Bunkspeed are going together.